I am so happy that you all are here. This is Poetry in Motion, part of Mic Check Poetry Fest. Let's go. Yes. Woo. We have 6 phenomenal poets here tonight. I'm telling you, like, Lisa and I were sitting here trying to figure out what the lineup was gonna be, and we just started picking our favorite poets, right? We were just like, this is gonna be great. And so they are here, and they're gonna spit on this stage. And while they do that, this wonderful trio is gonna be here to back them up. And they are gonna be improvising. So they met with these artists a little bit just about an hour ago to kind of talk ideas, but they don't really there's no score here, right? So it'll be this really true moment of poetry and a performance that you will never see again. It'll never be exactly like this. And that is... Tell the people. So that's allowed. Y'all can be a part of that. So that is what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna give y'all a shout out later if that's cool, because I think we're gonna spit into this poem and then get this show moving. So I wanna start off with sharing a poem if that's cool with y'all. Cool.
Don't be nice, be nasty. Disgusting.
No, I'm just kidding, that's not the kind of nasty. So my sister and I, we do this thing where we don't finish each other's sentences, but we straight up steal them. Whole words and phrases said simultaneously, and then immediately we look at each other and we say, let me be my own person. And then we laugh. And the funny thing about siblings is that it can feel like a relationship with your own reflection. Like you are standing next to them, simply because they are the other half of this double helix. A home made out of good memories and good genes. A home that can handle the weight of any bad day. A place where siblings and safety become synonyms. 3 months ago, my mother held hands with a man as he turned into a memory. They whispered brother and sister back and forth to each other until his voice gave out, till his breath gave out, until he gave out. And now, I watch my mother reach for a reflection that's not there. Extend her arm across a double helix to find nothing holding her in place, a homeless heart. And I find an old note written in my phone titled, Things I Don't Want to Forget. And it's only got one thing listed. My sister's love for named humor. Like even years ago, I knew how important it would be to remember every negative Nancy, every Debbie Downer, every starving Marvin, every geez Louise, like. Even years ago, I knew the biggest loss I could ever have is forgetting my sister's laugh. How I can always find home in our humor. How I can always count on it. How it can change how I see a single day. Now, my mom has a hard time looking today in the eyes. Knows that she'll be doing it alone now. On her own now. And I feel my heart crawling its way back home, whispering, let me be my own person. But please, please don't leave me alone. Hey, yo, that was hot. All right, so that's what the night's gonna look like, but even way better because we got all these other poets. So are y'all ready? Let's go. Okay. This first poet we got coming up. Oh my God, I love this poet. Samm, you. Yes. Tell the people. He is a professional photographer and 6-time Grand Slam champion. Yes. He published his first photography and poetry zine titled Craving Community with, I can't say that word, Astringent, I believe, Astringent Press in October 2023. Okay, publication. They study psychology and Chinese and spend their free time as a community organizer in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids. He hopes to see a free Palestine, free Congo, free Tigray, and free Sudan in his lifetime. Please welcome up Samm.
I wanted to give a quick content warning that this piece does include mentions of genocide, death, police brutality, and violence. And I know that we're really early in the night. And so if those are not themes that you're ready to hear about, I completely understand and would invite you to step out for the duration of this piece. Thank you. Vietnamese filmmaker Trinh T. Minh Ha coined the term of speaking nearby rather than speaking about a subject, which allows the speaker to come very close to a thing, an identity, a wound, a sensitivity, without seizing it or claiming it as their own. It emphasizes the importance of leaving a gap for the oppressed to speak of their own oppression, for the occupied to speak of their own stolen land, for the victims of genocide to speak of their own sacrifices. And something I've been thinking about a lot since marking a year and 75 of Palestinian genocide is urban planning. How Americans will debate over third spaces disappearing in their cities, places that are not work or home, saying, there aren't enough parks or libraries or places to just hang out anymore. And in the back of my mind, I see hospitals implode on themselves. Universities turned to rubble, entire neighborhoods forcibly disappeared because Israeli and American politicians just said so. So what do I need a third space for when the empire is already everywhere that I go, in the pockets of my presidential candidates, my university's investments, my Instagram ads, and my celebrities' hot takes? And when marginalized or indigenous people try to create their own third spaces, gay bars, barbershops, vigils, protests, prayer circles, marches, art builds, die-ins, encampments, they are policed, surveilled, displaced, and arrested. And what the colonizers really mean to say by this is there should be fewer and fewer places for liberation to be imagined in private and rehearsed in public. That if they can ban books and homelessness and abortion, then no one can think of their own freedom anymore. And everyone that I know floats just outside their bodies these days. To be marginalized is to be seized and claimed and owned by whoever has decided they can steal your story first and your land next, can accuse you of war crimes and terrorism when they are really confessing their own sins over and over again. So when I speak nearby to the many global genocides in this world, I remake a third space for the families of martyrs to fill in the blanks of what I might believe genocide to be. I build a stage for the loved ones of already dead poets and journalists and doctors to tell me what I don't know and correct me where my privilege makes me wrong, even when it is imaginary. My third space is the place I go to keep my empathy alive. In these times, it's the only organ I have left to give. I harvest a field of empty folding chairs for all the Palestinian scholars that have nowhere to graduate from. I set a dinner table for all the displaced Sudanese men, women, and children who are being starved and silenced as a weapon of war. I construct a vigil the size of Congo's mineral mines and watch children's hands weep cobalt and blood diamonds like sweat dripping into the soil below us. Speaking nearby is a witness statement that does more than just watch. And every evening, I fold myself back into this morning and check if my empathy is still there in the pit of my stomach. For the past 12 months, I have been waiting for this body to metabolize all the violence I can never unsee. It's paralyzing. It devours me. And I must be grateful for the consumption, for the fear and grief and desire to keep fighting. Why is that something a person would want to lose? Why would I choose to be numb when I have the privilege of still being alive? So when I submit my witness statement and I am asked what I have seen, I will say, my third space is the shape of a child-sized body bag. It's the length of a protest that runs all the way from Cop City to Palestine. It smells like the hollowed out carcass of the Starbucks on Clinton Street. It is the dimensions of a McDonald's kids cup, charred and overflowing with bloodshed. It's the size of the James Theater hosting a Nikki Haley rally 4 months before she signs an Israeli artillery shell. It's the width of every New York Times headline that's never had an accountability statement or action verb for all the death and displacement in this world. In my third space, the walls are just a recurring live stream of Gazans begging people to stop scrolling on their timelines. The floors are plastered in portraits of Congolese survivors waiting for aid when they know time is running out. It reeks of oil pipelines and bulldozers that sever indigenous water sources across our entire continent. In my third space, there are always children in the room, and they are always alone. And I have no idea what to do with the reality of that, the trauma permanently altering their lives down to their DNA. And somewhere in the corner, I hear a pot of water boiling on a stove all the way from Illinois. And I witness my friends in 2 separate cities building altars across Iowa for Sonia Massey. And I think of how the same police forces that kill disabled Black women in this country knowingly shred and disfigure, are trained by the IOF, who knowingly shred and disfigure disabled Palestinians on the other side of the world, somewhere in the depths of the Missouri Potosi Correctional Center. Marcellus Williams writes a poem for Palestine. He uses his pen to write liberation into existence for children that live nearly 7,000 miles away from his cell, as a fax machine vomits letters from concerned citizens into an empty governor's office. And I think of how the same imperialist projects in Gaza and the US have left us with shadows where fathers should be, with craters where families used to lay their heads down, with unending genocides of Black and brown people. And I know these have been the darkest days of my entire life. I have stopped going to protests because my mother has cancer and I can't call on a sick woman to pay my bail for fear the worry will just make her sicker. And lately, I feel like I have 2 lives, One where I am accountable to my loved ones, my day job, my schoolwork, and another where I am accountable to all the people dying by way of my tax dollars. And it hasn't set in yet that those are all connected in some sick and strange way, with me at the center of it, holding nothing but a flimsy witness statement. So when speaking nearby does not feel like enough, I search for language to make sense of the madness. And in Chinese culture, we say that children are like flowers, that they bloom best when nurtured with both of their parents' hands. But we don't have a saying yet for when they must grow up as the last heartbeat in an entire lineage. Thank you.
Thank you, Samm. So when I was making the lineup today, I went up to Samm and I was like, Samm, can you go first? And Samm was like, you want me to go first? And now I understand, but I also want to say thank you. So one more round of applause for Samm, please. And to keep us moving, I want to let you know who's coming up next. So Donika Kelly is the author of, yeah, go ahead, Donika Kelly. Come on. Is the I love y'all. The Renunciations, winner of the, sorry, I just started a sentence. I didn't even tell you. She's the author of the book. Wow, now I feel flustered. All right, so let's breathe together so that I can be normal. Let's breathe in on 3. 1, 2, 3. And out. Thank you. Let's start that over. So Donika Kelly is the author of Renunciations, winner of the Ansfield Wolf Book Award in Poetry, the Bastirier, I can't say any words today, the winner of the 2015 Cave Canem Poetry Prize, a Hurston Wright Legacy Award, and a Kate Tufts Discovery Award. Kelly's poetry has been a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award, the Publishing Triangle Award, the Lambda Literary Awards, and long listed for the National Book Award. Come on. Yes. A Cave Canem Graduate Fellow, National Endowment of the Arts Fellow, and founding member of the collective Poets at the End of the World. She has also received a Lannan Residency Fellowship and a Summer Workshop Fellowship from the Fine Arts Work Center. She earned an MFA from, and I don't know from where, I can't say that word, Mishner, see, I know how to read. Mishner Center for Writers at the University of Texas at Austin, and a PhD in English from Vanderbilt University. She know her shit. Her poems have been published in The New Yorker, The Atlantic, The Paris Review, and elsewhere. Donika lives in Iowa City with her wife, the nonfiction writer Melissa Phoebos, and is an assistant professor in the English department at the University of Iowa, where she teaches creative writing. Please welcome up Donika. Come on.
Oh, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Caleb. Oh, it's such a delight to get to read tonight. I am not a performance poet. So this is a little bit of a different energy, but I'm glad to be with the poets tonight and to get to share a little work. So this poem is titled, Though You Cannot Name Them, They Exist. Matter, out of which we are made, the contradiction, ordinary and rare. Feather and starlight, breath and nebula don't add up to more than a slim nickel of the universe. How then to chart the everywhere else? Step 1, weigh the universe, account for the dust of us, the known, and wonder at what holds the dust in place. Anchor the holding in description, matter and energy the same, dark. Dark meaning the refusal of light, dark being persistent and smooth. We name each knowable star bright, dying, dead, because ordinary matter names ordinary matter. The dark, extraordinary and abundant, persists, uncharted but assumed. Energy and matter like mother, like sister, like auntie, like niece, invisible, except where they let us free, except where they hold us. We look for them in collapse, familiar and dense, the brown dwarfs, the black holes, which are tiny, yes, primordial, yes, and both insufficient. The energy, dark. The matter, dark. The dark matters, makes up the matrix ordinary matter pushes through, matter without which we are not, and with we are sudden and brief, a second planet, a new star, sudden as hot rock and wet, a crown born under a palm, sudden as glory and expanding in this ordinary time. Thank you. So this next poem, I think it is helpful to know a few things. Dee is my sister. Billy is my grandpa. There are 2 cows in this poem. Their names are Mary and Bullet. I feel like that's helpful to know. And Jewel and Zach are my great-grandparents. And there's a man in here named Johnny Ray. He was my cousin's boyfriend. That's not important, but I think it's sometimes nice to know.
You got something to say? Say something!
It's gonna be what it is. We say it's gonna be, it's gonna be, it's gonna be, it's gonna be, it's gonna be what it, it's gonna be what it, it's gonna be what it is, what it is. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you, let me ask you, young blood, let me ask you what it is. What it is gonna be, it's gone. I tried to told you. Yeah, we pass all that, but I tried to told you. We pass. I tried to be what it is, young blood. I got damp, I say. I got damp, but I didn't get wet. That's what Johnny Ray said more than once. Dark road, backwoods, hogs behind fences. County road dark, country road dark. Say it. Say it again. Say, I got damp, but I didn't get wet. Say it like Johnny Ray. I got damp, but I didn't get wet. Shake your head, young blood. I got you, young blood. I got what it is, what it's gonna be, what it is, damp. Young blood, let me ask you something. You ever heard us say it's gonna be what it is? It's gonna be what it is. Gonna be, but we passed that. One county road down red dirt is gonna be country dark, is what it's gonna be. Hog on roadside, a man, red dirt gonna be what it is. You got me bent, buddy. Dee said that. Said, you got me bent, buddy. Young blood, you hear Dee say you got me bent? You know one thing. She call you buddy? You know another. And what you know, young blood, is it's gonna be what it is. And what it is done. Put a fence on that road, buddy. Down that road, down that red dirt once, Billy was kicking in high cotton. He said that when he was 79, he said, kid, when I was 60, said, I was kicking in high cotton. That ain't what it is no more. What it is what it's gonna be. Cotton chopped down, the field overgrown. What it is abandoned. Wind singing through grass, which done took fences, porches, hoed rows, cows, Mary and Bullet gone. Zach, who used to call their names, long gone. Julie too, Billy soon, any of us soon. Listen, I'm trying to remember, young blood. Forget, and what's lost could gut you like a hog. What it is, young blood, is gone, is in passes, and all we have left is what we say. And what we say, young blood, before the end and at it is, it's gonna be what it is. I feel like I'm supposed to be cool about this. This is so cool. Like, this is amazing. It's amazing. Blake Shaw, fantastic. Getting to read with the wonderful poets tonight, such a gift. I have one more. Okay. What I might sing. Last Friday, I was thinking of Whitney Houston. And because of you, I was thinking too of America, what I might sing of it. In elementary school, I pledged allegiance. The opening words, still the fastest way for me to find my right hand, for my right hand to find my heart. I struggled to say indivisible, not individual or invisible, but the opposite of both. Over 30 years ago in my hometown, when I was a child in elementary school, faithful in my recitation to the flag, the LAPD pounded into a man's body on the side of the freeway, caught on tape, the camera candid, the verdict not guilty, my neighborhood ablaze, the smoke visible from the kitchen window and on TV. They peeled open too the loose fist of my family, my father and uncle and my aunt's boyfriend Virgil, almost an uncle, and who else beside? The fist black, the state blue, the flag limp in the classroom's corner. For as long as I lived in Arkansas, my great aunt, now 88, who was born and will die just off Highway 79 South, my great aunt, who has a mind you, worked the polls. Before I talked with her last Sunday, I'd imagined some politic romance, a fantasy of a black woman, a mother at Pleasant Home Methodist AME who remembers Jim Crow, the peanut gallery, the back doors, the lost jobs, big money gone, and she's still here. I imagined her practicing her franchise, volunteering her time, to my mind, righteous. Well, come to find out that she didn't vote until she was in her 30s for Kennedy. Come to find out that after she was fired from Snow White Cleaners, after 30 years of service and no pension, well, $125 a day to work the polls, primary or general, was decent enough. The white woman who my aunt called an overseer, kind enough. The money still necessary after my Uncle June died last year, but the position gone, the overseer gone, the two of us a chorus of, well, I was thinking of Whitney on the train this last Friday, having scrolled past the video of the LAPD refusing to revisit the first time I saw the machine of the state doing its oldest work. I was remembering Whitney singing the Star-Spangled Banner, her white tracksuit, the sweat under the lights, above her lip, her vibrato jaw, but why was she singing? I was remembering America, thinking of you on my rumble home. The anthem I used to sing along to, my hand finding my heart because I was young and yielded to most things. And still, listen, Whitney sang the shit out of that song. Right? Marvin, too, the year I was born, his shades a mirror, this poem a mirror I keep turning away from. All parts, no whole, and damn near nothing worth standing for. Thank y'all.
Nice. It makes sense why you had all them awards. It just makes sense. We're going to keep it moving here. Our next artist here, Shayna Akanke Marie, is a thought-provoking writer, passionate poet, and community organizer based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yes, made that travel over here. Her voice is raw and powerful, and a powerful call for narrative justice and community unity. recognizing that those who possess the power to define also have the power to determine. She holds that diverse narratives are pivotal in enhancing community outcomes in justice, equity, and inclusion. Through poetry, Shayna bridges racial and generational differences, and she has a passion for youth advocacy and enhancing student outcomes and opportunities by empowering students to share their stories with the world. As a project manager and director of community relations for Grand Rapids Media Initiative and Film Incubator, Shayna organizes narrative justice work, including a documentary film based on the Black freedom struggle in Grand Rapids. Shayna believes that the path toward our collective future lies in understanding the issues that have shaped our past. Through this understanding, Shayna has developed several multimedia projects that uplift narrative justice and unpack historical discrimination, including the oral history of South High and West Michigan Not So Nice. In 2022, Shayna was honored to be the recipient of Grand Rapids Area Black Businesses Young, Black, and Gifted Award. Please welcome up my friend, Shayna.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I am so excited to be here. As Caleb said, I drove all the way from Grand Rapids, Michigan to come and party with y'all in Iowa. 10 out of 10 so far. How many of y'all like Al Green? Yeah, Al Green is from Grand Rapids. He went to South High School, so I just wanted to tell y'all that for no real reason. But again, I'm really happy to be here to share a little piece of my soul with you all. I'm going to be taking y'all on a little emotional roller coaster, if that is okay. My first piece is called Fathers. We got any fathers in the building? Okay. We got anybody with daddy issues in the building? All right. Fathers, be good to your daughters, because in America, Black girls end up slaughtered. And we have to walk around and act like we're unbothered, but there's no heartbreak in the world like one that comes from a father. Fathers, be good to your daughters, because the love you give her now, it might just make her smarter. She already lives in a world where she has to work way harder, but this distance you feel with her now, well, it will only grow farther. Fathers, please be good to your daughters, because they're killing girls like Breonna Taylor, and we don't want to be martyrs. Then the men won't protect us because they say, that's not my daughter. Then coerce us to giving in like our bodies for barter, and it's disheartening. I spent my whole life searching and hoping that you would notice, or just for a moment that you would focus. You may not know this, but sometimes I really feel like I'm soulless, because this void is so big that it can swallow me whole, and that's why I wrote this. Because I've kept it all inside for so long, and I always wondered if one day you might just right these wrongs, but I doubt it. So I pour my whole heart into these songs, and all I wanted was to really feel like I belong. So I say, fathers, be good to your daughters. One day she'll be grown up and heading off to college, and some boy will try to convince her not to be so modest, and she'll question her very worth because she lacked your guidance. You hear me, father? I know you tried to be good to your daughter, but I always felt something missing. Did you really try your hardest? I guess I turned out okay despite the bruising and scarring and the pain I buried deep inside that they call trauma. And sometimes I really feel like it was just me and my mama. And I still cry tears whenever I hear no more drama, like, no more drama in my life. I don't ever wanna hurt again. But there's no heartbreak in the world like one that comes from a father. So fathers, just be good to your daughters. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So as you can imagine, growing up with quote unquote daddy issues, it makes it really hard for you to understand relationships and intimacy. And so this next one, I will give a trigger warning. It is a reflection of my experience enduring abusive relationships, and yeah, trigger warning. It's called I Survived. What is it like? What is it like to be the one so incontrollably in control of me? How does it feel? How does it feel to have the power to sink your teeth so deep in between me, getting right in between every dream I once dreamed of, making happy memories? What were you thinking? The first time you got that sweet taste of surrender, were you aware? Did you know back then that you were going to do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again? Numbing me from the inside out, leaving me trying to figure out why the fuck this is what love is supposed to be about. Just one time, did you ever feel bad? Was there a single ounce in that sad, sad soul that begged and pleaded for you to just let me go, let me know? What was it like? The feeling of your fingers closing in around my neck, was it arousing? Exciting? Did I deserve it? Did I earn it? Because every plea I made, you seemed to reverse it. Did you like it? Did you love it? Because from where I'm laying, you sure don't look disgusted. How many before me? How many fucking girls before me got stripped of their humanity, humbled and humiliated? How many after? Oh God, I can't even fathom. What is it like? Thank you. Woo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was actually my first time reading that poem in a room full of people, so thank you. And both of these books are in my first self-published book called Pain and Pleasure. So you can definitely grab a copy of that while you're here. I'm going to end on a super fucking happy note. After obviously surviving and dealing with, childhood trauma and all the things, it took a really, really long time for me to be able to write the poem that I'm about to read to you. And it's called 10 Things I Love About Me. 10. I love the way that I use my pen to paint pictures out of words, to reaffirm my worth, to search the depths of me and bring my dreams into reality. 9. I love the way that I find everything that was made for me, the way my mind is like a treasure map that steers me through uncharted seas until I find my way back to the treasure buried deep inside of me. 8. I love the way that I strive to be great, the way I still make mistakes, but when the stakes are high, still I rise. 7. I love the way that the heavens align for me with signs to see the rising star inside of me that moves mountains with a mustard seed, this divinity. 6. Yeah, I'm mixed, so I see the world quite differently. Because at another point in history, my parents might be enemies. It's a mystery. How love conquers all, how it breaks every wall that was put in place to separate by race, but the antidote to hate is love. And I am a product of two star-crossed lovers who found one another, a white mother and a black dad. Yeah, I'm mixed, but what's sad is that everyone seems to only see me as a 50%. Half, as if my being could be ripped apart. It breaks my heart, but the best part is I've learned how to be 150% me. Okay? 5. I love how I come alive. I have this force inside. The source provides, ancestors guide, and I love my life. 4. I love how I hold the door open for others, even if they would slam one in my face. I give grace. I find the strength to create a safe space, a place where there are no doors. 3. I love each and every single version of me, from the worst of me to the woman I see now. I am humbled, yet proud of how I've grown from crawling to standing on my own. 2. I I love the way I transmute the trauma and the pain into something new. It's the way I believe I can have, do, or be anything I dare to dream. It's alchemy. This magic inside of me could turn lead into gold. What I hold in my mind, I can hold in my hand. It's all a part of God's beautiful plan. 1, I love what I've done. I love how far I've come to become a woman who shatters glass ceilings. Every fiber of my being burns with a drive to change lives, to heal hearts and minds, and I started with mine. Over time, I have seen each seed of intention grow. And I know that although I love all the things that I have done, I have only just begun. Thank you.
Give it up for the 3 poets who did this so far. Come on. We had Shayna Marie, Donika Kelly, Samm. We've had some amazing poets touch this stage. It has been so fun. Really quick though, we have to give the credit because y'all are halfway in. Like now y'all know what this show looked like. So now we really got to give the credit to the band. All right, let's go. We got Dan Padley. We got Chris Jensen. We got Blake Shaw. They are amazing. Each one of them are artists that work on their own individual work and also do this work together. So please follow them on socials and out in the world. And if you ever see them on any poster, you better be at their show. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now we are gonna take a 10-minute break. That's your moment to stretch your legs, get some water, buy things from them poets, right? And then we will be back here in 10 minutes. So take that break. Thank y'all. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Are we still feeling good? Let's go. All right. So before we hop right in, I do have one announcement, which is that there was a phone found in the women's bathroom that has Van Gogh on the cover and as the lock screen. So if you like your phone, and I got it. That's out of that. All right. So come find me or claim it now. Is it you? I just can see you. It's in the dark. All right. Whew. Problem solved. All right, let's go. Yeah. All right, we're going to hop right back into this show. We got 3 more poets for you, and that'll be our night. I'm so excited. So this next poet is just one of my best friends. Kelsey Bigelow is a poet and speaker based in Des Moines. She spends her time working as a mental health poet, sharing this therapeutic tool with audiences of all ages across the world. She is the author of Far From Broken, selling out there, The Coffee Cherry, Depression Holders and Secret Keepers, and Sprig of Lilac. Her work is published with Central Avenue Publishing, Pile Press, Lyrical Iowa, Back Channels Journal, Spirit Lake Review, and elsewhere. Kelsey is a 2024 Pushcart Prize nominee. That's dope. We're gonna, yeah! That's not easy. And a 2023 Button Poetry Video Contest finalist. And, yeah! Y'all knew that one. I like that. All right. And a 2023 Central Avenue Poetry Prize shortlist finalist. Yes, she is the founder and leader of the Des Moines Poetry Workshop, the chair for the Iowa Poetry Association Poetry Slam, and the co-tournament director for the Blackberry Peach National Poetry Slam, and more. Get to know Kelsey at her website. Please welcome up one of my dear friends, Kelsey Bigelow.
My name's Kelsey. I'm 5'3", a mediocre yogi, and have only met one person paler than me. All of that rhymed, and it was only 3/4 intentional. I live with dissociation and CPTSD, so I often hide behind weighted blankets and freeform poetry. I like driving without a destination and meeting new dogs, though I prefer cats in my home. I think this is because my childhood was nomadic with a bark that wouldn't quit. I will share more on the mic than my family would like, but helping others feel understood is what brought me to the stage. I like my coffee black and my bookshelves full. I'm oddly good at eating sloppy joes without being sloppy, probably from training myself to keep my messes hidden. I don't know a lot, but I know every line to Gilmore Girls, and that I have survived 100% of my worst days. I know that poetry is my ultimate metaphor as I choose which lines to break, which rhymes to make while I write my life into its own rhythm. Because I was a young girl fighting sandpaper days and turning scrapes into poetry. And I know that all of this has made me who I am here tonight, a young woman building marble years, a poetry career, and still fighting through. Hello, okay, that is how I like to say hi and introduce myself without actually introducing myself. That was my honest poem after Rudy Francisco. Wild. So yeah, that's how I like to just kind of give a little taste and kind of give you an overview of who I am and what brought me to poetry and kind of some of the things we're going to talk about. I also am going to bring you on a little bit of an emotional journey. This next piece I'm going to share is a heavy one. I usually say my work is just like a walking trigger warning, so I don't often give them. But this one specifically, just there are mentions of violence and and anger and all of that. So please take care of yourselves and step out if you need. And we'll welcome you back when you're ready. Yeah. But this is one of my favorite poems to share lately because it is incredibly cathartic for me. It is also active therapy homework, so welcome to my therapy session. Thank you for being here. It is one that assesses where my dissociation came from. The kind I have is where I separate myself from my emotions or the situation at hand. I'm working on it. We're starting to feel our feelings now, which is so healthy. And so this is one that is also allowing me to feel anger. And I think I myself, but especially as women in this society, we are taught that anger is not a safe or acceptable emotion to feel, let alone express, and that's just wrong. Because anger is a human emotion, and we should feel the full spectrum. And so this is me giving you permission to find your healthy way to express anger. This is kind of like lidocaine. I was 5 years old, playing on the apartment complex playground with my 2 older brothers. It was a downpour, and we were sliding and dancing in the mud, full of childhood joy. That is the last memory I have where I felt like a child. That is the last memory I have of us 3 kids as a unit. My therapist asks how I feel sharing this story with her, and I say, kind of like I understand why I always want to play in the rain. Kind of like I wish I remembered what good things happened between then and now. Kind of like I'm grieving siblings I never actually lost while their ghosts smile at me in photos pretending the hits don't exist. Kind of like I can't logic my way out of how fucking sad it is to not have a good memory with their brothers in 25 years. Kind of like numbing myself out of this heaviness. And so I do. I fade my eyes out, remove all emotion as she describes dissociation. On my way home, I scrape my hand on a door hinge. I let it bleed and bubble until finally rinsing it off, because isn't that just like me? To prefer dealing with damage I can bandage? As I wrap the cut, I think about how no amount of gauze can clot their neglect. No cast can mend the brokenness in this family. There is no ointment capable of curing the years they disowned me. There was no drug left untested as they searched bottles for a sister they left back on that playground. There is no antibiotic for this kind of healing, so I studied how to inject my own kind of lidocaine to avoid it all. And I got good at it. You see, there is a calmness in the numbness, a simple path to breathing and surviving. But I've learned this numbness shows itself more as a lack of joy than a lack of sorrow. So I return to therapy with a bandaged hand and a raw heart and ask her to teach me how to stay present even in the heavy, so that I may finally hold on to a good memory. I love you guys. I need you all to know I told them we don't need to practice. I'm just trusting you, and they're killing it. Okay, before I go into my last piece, all of the pieces that I'm sharing tonight are in my book that I released this year called Far From Broken. I am currently on tour for it, so you guys are part of that tour. Thank you. Yeah, publish it. And so I want to end with a happier piece, because I don't want to make you just totally sad. But if you do want to be sad, I can hook you up. Come talk with me. I take all forms of payment. But this piece is about how incredibly disorienting it can be when you spent your entire life in survival mode, and then you get to just live how you want and like be happy. I don't know what that means. I know how to not die every day. I can do that. But like just doing what I want is scary and disorienting, and also beautiful and lovely. And you should allow yourself to do that when you get there. If you are there, I'm happy for you. Welcome. If you are not, please keep going. You will be. And so this poem is for all of you. It is when the map is no longer highlighted in survival. What do I do after surviving a crosswalk I spent 29 years building as I crossed? After the snow has settled, the traffic has calmed, and the sun has waved me across the street, what do I do with these painted hands? They never learned how to hold, just to fold my feelings into my pocket as I helped others across. These concrete feet haven't learned how to beat their crust off just to fight off the weight of each year. What do I do when the construction is complete? How do I step on an unfamiliar sidewalk instead of sticking around to sit in my handiwork for a while? To admire the elbow grease I pushed for, to allow myself a release into the life I fought for. How do I walk on? How do I know which road to follow when the map is no longer highlighted in survival? I'm learning. They call this a revival. And it's my turn to create the paths I discover. I'm no longer taking cover or being pulled into the cracks, and I'm learning. The hard hat I crafted from my own back never actually fit me, just enough to look protected. I'm learning to remove it. Let my head breathe sky again. Let my hair feel breeze again. I'm learning to let my feelings unfold, especially the good ones. I'm told their names are relieved, peaceful, fulfilled, alive. I'm learning these feelings will live longer outside of my pocket. I'm learning. My crosswalk meant I built a curbside safe enough to take my first step as I begin building a sidewalk all my own. One that can hold the weight of the heavy and the hopeful. Thank you so much.
Woo! So what's really fun for me, right, is that lidocaine poem. I've been watching that poem like grow for Kelsey, right? Because I was one of the first people to hear that poem, like the first time she wrote it, and she's like, I think this is a good poem. And then now I've been watching her on stages. We went on tour some time ago. January, thank you. We went on tour together in January, and so I got to watch her like hit that poem on several different stages, and now to see it, even hear it tonight, it's different, it's better, it's stronger, and I'm just so excited for you to really let you feel you're letting yourself feel that anger, and that's been really exciting. So let's claps for human emotion, being a full person. All right, our next poet up, Vince Gotera, is appointed, or what? Yeah! Was appointed the Poet Laureate of Iowa this year. Let's go. He did serve as an English professor at the University of Northern Iowa, and he had been doing that since 1995. Yeah, he was holding it down. He was an editor of the North American Review, the nation's longest-lived literary journal, from 2000, that's just 2000. My mind was working really quick there. To 2016. And of the Star Line, the print journal of the International Science Fiction and Fantasy Poetry Association from 2017 to 2020. So Vince has published over 300 poems and is the author of 4 poetry collections. 5 actually now. Dragonfly, Ghost Wars, Fighting Kite, and The Coolest Month in his latest book, Dragons and Ray Guns. Yes, he blogs at The Man with the Blue Guitar. Please welcome up Vince. Come on up.
Thanks, Caleb.
Don't be Becky, Beyonce.
All my poems tonight have to do with music in some fashion or another. The first poem is a rap poem that I need to set up for you. It's actually a rap spoken by Sir Gawain, who was one of the knights of the Round Table. And this has to do, you may know the story about the Green Knight coming to the court, to the Round Table, and how Gawain felt like it was an insult to Arthur, and so he felt like he had to take up the challenge. Yo, my name is Sir G, and I got the energy to kill you, a giant green dragon, then rescue a girl down in the underworld before breakfast. I ain't even bragging. It was Saturday night and we were partying right, yeah, Christmas at King Arthur's crib. When swoosh through the door swept a great big horse, and the rider, man, he was a trip. He was green, ain't kidding you, greener than the back of $1. Decked in emerald gauze like the Wizard of Oz. On his emerald horse he hollered, now who's tough enough to risk all his puffed Wheaties on a teenager wager? Who'll strike me first? Babe, do your worst, then let me hit you back at you later. Well, I thought, what the heck, so I took his green axe and twish, I decapped his head. But the jerk stood right up and picked that thing up. I'll see you next year, chump, he said. Well, that's the end of my song, but don't get me wrong, next Yuletide I hang at Hog's Castle. I play with his wife and give him his life and slide back. Then slide back here, Jack, no hassle. Let's give them a hand. Aren't they doing great? What is my password? There we go. All right. This next poem is called Letter to Bob Boynton, Music Prodigy. And Bob was a guy I played with, if you can believe this, over 50 years ago. We were in garage bands in high school. Letter to Bob Boynton, Music Prodigy. Dear Bob, I find myself hearkening back sometimes to those old days when you and I were playing in garage bands, way back in high school. You were the drummer and I was the guitarist. Remember that time we tape recorded a practice song? It was The Doors, Light My Fire. A damn fine recording that was. Rick Rock channeling Morrison, John doing Manzarek, and me wielding Krieger solo note for note. With you and Steve, best damn rhythm section. But you know, Bob, we never really did justice to your skills. Not only were you an excellent drummer, you also played the flute, and I think the saxophone too. Guitar, bass, you were a quintuple threat. Whatever happened to that demo tape, do you know? We were really kicking ass that day. But you, old friend, you were exceptional. Rolling fills and cymbal crashes, keeping time with your strong foot on the kick, crisp attack on hi-hat and snare, a prince on the drum throne. Each time we played, you shook the stage like a damn earthquake. Thank you, Vince. Some time ago, I did something very similar to this, where I was invited to San Jose, California, to the San Jose Poetry Center, to do a reading. There were three of us poets reading with the Eddie Gale Jazz Band. And that was a different kind of experience because Eddie's band was really a small orchestra, you know, and people would, the sax man would jump up and do a solo, and then he would point to a poet. And we had to run up to the mic and do a poem, you know, with the band behind us. So this is way more mellow. So I wrote this poem on the flight going to San Jose. It's called Blues Channel, Northwest Airlines, flying from Minneapolis to San Jose. And I was just listening, you know what you do, and sitting in my seat listening to this music, and I started to write this poem right then. Sun House, Sonny Boy Williamson, Sonny Terry's blues harp howling like a wolf in the Georgia pine forest. Freight train tunneling through California redwoods, red beans, rack of ribs in a Kansas City firehouse. Hoochie Coochie Man, Cajun catfish with a mess of greens, okra, cornbread, gumbo, mumbo jumbo, muddy waters jamming with Memphis Slim in the Mississippi Roadhouse. Piano keys plinking and clunking hot as tar sizzling. Chicago rooftop. Guitar chunking heavy as an aircraft carrier. Dreadnought, juggernaut, not like brandy snifters or cut crystal. How long has this been going on? They call it Stormy Monday. How long, sweet mama? How long? Boom, 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 boom. Bass drum, tom-tom, hi-hat, snare, blonde hair, brown hair, redhead, black dreadlocks flowing like weary blues. Robert Johnson, Langston Hughes, summer house, workhouse, smokehouse, blues. This next poem is called Rock and Roll. I have been a rock and roll musician for over 50 years, like that says in that other poem. I'm currently a bass player in the rock and blues band Deja Blue up in Waterloo. You know, there's a brand of water called Deja Blue. Have you ever seen it? And they actually sent us a cease and desist letter, which we ignored. So this poem is called Rock and Roll. I think back to playing guitar and singing covers in dance bands some 50 years ago. Teenage dancers and hangers-on crowding the stage. Bob Seger sang, "Out there in the spotlight, you're a million miles away." And I recall that feeling precisely. The slight buzz of the amplifiers, an undertone to the band's groove. Booming bass guitar below the shimmer and snap of cymbals and snare, and me riding that glimmering wave of sound, my voice surfing like a silver alien towards some horizon inside the mind, somewhere deep within. That's why we do this, for those brief moments when we lose ourselves in the deep wave that's both inside and outside us. Everyone in the place can feel it, locking into the wave, all swept together somewhere else, all riding together like a whole city in a spaceship in the invisible metallic vessel of a lone guitar chord. And I hope that Caleb will forgive me because I'm going to slip one poem in here, and the band doesn't know about this. I'm going to ask you not to play. So, okay. And you'll see why I'm reading this. This is My Mother's Fear. My mother was an alien, a legal alien. That is, she had a green card while my father and I were the family's U.S. citizens. As a kid, I wanted to visit Mexico, but my mother was afraid. Now, she was a brave woman, a doctor, the only female in her med school class, during a time when only men could do such things. But for her, no Mexico. She was scared they would stop her at the border on the way back and she would get stranded alone. I thought that was foolish and silly, I remember. How could that happen? America was the land of the free. Well, Mama, today you'd be right. America great again. You were always right.
Give it up for our poet laureate, please. Come on. It's dope. All right, we got one final poet for you all. Are you excited? Let's go. All right. So, Aubrey Barnes. Oh, we don't. Come on, Aubrey Barnes. Nationally known as Mr. Aubs, he hails from the city of Rock Island, Illinois. Yes, he is a prolific writer with 3 published poetry books to his name. They're called Unfinished, I'm Not Anti-Love, I Swear, and It Is Good, It Is Written. Each collection reflects on his nuanced understanding of the human experience, exploring themes of love, identity, and societal change. As the visionary founder of Roaring Rhetoric, the longest-standing poetry open mic in the Quad Cities, love for that. He's holding it down out there. Barnes has provided a platform for countless voices to be heard, fostering a rich tapestry of artistic expression, and he's committed to empowering the youth through the arts. So he also established Young Lions Roar. Give that, come on now. This is an organization that's dedicated to enabling students to use poetry not only as a form of self-expression, but also as a tool to enhance their mental wellness and advocate for themselves and their communities. He is recognized for his outstanding contributions. Barnes has received numerous accolades, including the prestigious Midwest Center's Best Literary Artist Award. Yeah. The Quad Cities Business Journal's 40 Under 40 honor. Yeah, and the esteemed NAACP Image Award. Yes. In addition, he has been acknowledged as the Rock Island Citizen of the Year. Yes, a testament to what he does for his community. Please welcome up Mr. Aubs.
Yo, how we doing, church? We doing good, great, all that? That's good. Hey, can we give it up for Caleb and the whole staff on this event, too? Like, I know y'all understand, but like just having art spaces like this, kind of like, especially in this kind of like times and all that, like they're important to have for the sense of like healing, you know, being able to advocate for self and all that. So thank you for creating what you do and all that. Can we also thank the poets that have been doing stuff as well? A lot of amazing narratives too. Thank y'all for sharing your narratives. And lastly, can y'all give it up for yourselves for being here too? It's important. So, like he said, I'm a poet and an educator. We talk about, hey, I can cuss up here, Caleb, right? Okay, I always got to be asking. I don't want to like say something that have people like, you know. No, but I'm a poet, an educator. We talk about revolutionary shit. We talk about real shit. We're gonna get to it all. Can I do that with y'all? Can I for real do that though? Like, y'all ain't gonna have no kind of ill will after? Okay, cool. We do it all in love. But this first one's about a fight. It's a fight we've all seen in some kind of way. So we're gonna talk about it. Can I talk about it? I know y'all saw how Street got hit by gentrification. That was the meanest fight I'd ever seen. I mean, did y'all see how the man moved? Swinging so fast and slow at the same time? I mean, the man hit Street so hard that Street crumbled like hammers and drills to concrete, causing cracks to ripple through roads, ribcage as he bled out down the boulevard from pothole who puffed pipe packed with pixie dust that had him paranoid of the police. Let me cook real quick. Right next to park on bench where Rosa catch the morning shuttle. Rise for quarters to prostitute her pedals as she walked past liquor store who spilled his beer as he dug through pockets for profit to pay as he break his neck for some of her nectar. This man was so distracted, he ain't noticed new neighbors jumping street right in front of his son's sidewalk where daughter's double dutched. I mean, Whole Foods came and took off Half Street's block, swung a punch. Whole Foods came and took off Half Street's block, swung a punch before pawn shop had time to pull up pants, before apartment had time to pack their belongings, before Martin Luther King Drive had time to pump his brakes, before the man aimed to pull trigger on both playground and basketball courts, cleaning up street for Target to move in, as he shoot his shot with Starbucks, covering casualties with condos, microbreweries, bookstores who move green and eco-friendly sex at dispensaries, forcing street pharmacies to liquidate their departments, selling them medicinals for 75% off original price, where property tax swung a mean uppercut, swung a mean uppercut, swung a mean uppercut and lift the third shift off his feet. But hey, at least it discourages violence in the street. I mean, you could only beat streets so far as he's willing to dance. And these New York streets, they gonna get tired of competing at some point. These Chicago streets gonna be so displaced with depression that they're smoking more than one joint. And these LA streets gonna get dug into, like needles to skin of kin who drowned in sea without paddles, where Skid would row, where Skid row. But you won't hear that story. You won't hear that story because economics gonna be on late night news, talk that bullshit, talk about how gentrification's dedication for ties community, handing out Citizen of the Year plaques of public service and infrastructure for their unity. Though economics gonna sweep inequality under rug to be carried off his casket by cost of living, leaving a candid visual where gas stations come together to pour out their 40 ounces over street at churches, lift up prayers and sermons while wearing RIP affordable housing t-shirts donated by the black business who knew he was gonna catch the next eviction notice like stroke, dying in arms of JJ's chicken fist under eyewitness of body shopping duplex. Destination declined by DoorDash, filled with community members, Jews turned Gentiles, grandmas, grandpas, ghettos who grind to bone to be ground to bone by white seller hips and newcomers who plant flag around when Rep Party once moved her feet before forgetting who she was after moving on up to the east side. Like the Jeffersons doing her people dirty for families who don't approve of the head nods and knuckle butts of which we greet. So you best believe that's the last time we see justification being on streets, and you better not miss the next fight. Y'all still hanging with me, right? We good? Because I know we talked about a lot of real shit. You know, that's the part where people kind of get a little bumpy and unsure, but y'all are hanging with me, so gratitude for that. Can we also give gratitude to this amazing collective of musicians? You know, I think they just make me sound cooler. I like, out of my own pride and egotistical attributes, I think I sound cool already, but they make me sound cooler, so I thank y'all. No, gratitude for y'all for sure. So we're gonna get into this next one. Iowa City, you might let me down in this, but maybe not. I won't make assumptions because the four agreements tells me not to make assumptions. But y'all heard of Curtis Mayfield, right? Yeah. Pusher Man? Yeah. So if I say these two words, y'all are gonna know. If y'all know Pusher Man, y'all won't disappoint me. So if I say I'm yo, mama. It's okay. It's hey, I can take those woes to my counselors. I'm your Pusher Man. Yeah, see, okay, we was close. Hey, no ill will. Hey, I put you guys on. So if you don't know Curtis Mayfield's Pusher Man, listen to that Superfly album. Like, yeah, listen to it, you know. But yes. So I got this piece I wrote a few months ago when I was listening to the song, and I kind of had in my mind, what if Curtis Mayfield's Pusher Man was depression? What would that man sound like? And this is how I kind of assumed he sound like. I'm who your mother, who your daddy said don't exist, but you know me, I'm that brother in the alley of all your anxieties. I'm your Pusher Man. I'm in every crack of your concrete walls that you can barely keep up yourself. I mean, you ain't ate, slept, showered in days. You can barely keep up with yourself. You be running on E, but running with speed, though you can barely keep up with yourself. You know I'm the only brother around here who keep you high. How you think you keep up with yourself? I'm your pusher man. I'm so clean, but mean. I mean for the green, I will push a man clean off the cliff of his sanity silently. But don't get me wrong, baby, I'm here to heal you. You don't take no prescriptions, but I'm your doctor, your friend, your main boy. But if you ever stand tall like a king in my castle with the confidence of a lion, I will cut your mane. Boy, I'm your pusher man. I'm the reason you can't get through jungles, keeping you man of odd circumstance, whether thick or thin. But when you run out of gas, I will push you, man. I keep you elevated. I'm in the system of college students going to school to be medics. Shit, I even got folks in the pews in that pulpit smelling like the devil's lettuce. A reek they try to cover in church oil, cover in altar calls, cover in prayer, cover in repentance, turn re-up after worship. My spirit just too potent. My smoke will always go to your head. I mean, shit, I even tempted Jesus to turn rocks to bread. I even convinced God to grow more grass. Yeah, life's got hurdles, but keep my rotation in circles, and this too shall puff past. I'm your pusher man. I come in eighths, quarters, halves. We'll leave you ziplocked in your mind with doors unlocked. You just too high to open them, too depressed to cope with them. I done took strong men and left no hope in them, but y'all don't really want to leave. No, this the only place where you can make the world what you want it to be. You keep on chasing distractions like the woman you love desperately. I keep your heart burning, keep your blunt burning, keep you burning, keep you smoking, keep you mellow. I'm your pusher man. Baby, I hustle the rain, sleet, snow, summer. I'm your pusher man. Not even your greatest of flames can match with me. I'm the plug to a bad machine. As your elbows to Vaseline, I'm your pusher man. I mean, I even had your uncles out here chiseling bricks. Even got you with a stash box where you smuggling shit. Hide your blunts, hide your smoke, hide it from self, hide it from world, but you can never hide from me. I always got eyes on you. I know exactly where you be. And you best believe I'm ready to push a man or push a man, but you know me, you know me, I'm your pusher man. Hey, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me still. I appreciate that. Gratitude. Big gratitude for that. Big gratitude. So I got one more piece, and I'll get out of y'all's hairs and all that. And before I do it, because I know I'm gonna forget, I got ADHD. You know, we out here with this, so I know I'll forget. But so I'm gonna give y'all the Instagram right now, so you can follow what I do as an educator and all that. I'm always posting about my students and other things. So MISTERAUBS, MISTERAUBS. We all got that? It's like MISTE. I don't gotta make a song out of it, do I? We already got it. Okay, cool. I know, like as a teacher, I know rhythm kind of helps. So, but we adults. So yeah, definitely follow me on that joint. But this next piece, I wrote this after a good homie of mine, a good poet homie, called me out in a good way, in a way that kind of sharpened me. Like where he told me, he's like, man, like your poems are dope, but I don't see you in your poems. Like we want to know about you, and I'm like, I feel personally attacked, sir. That's for my therapist to know. I ain't gonna share that with all y'all. Like, hey. But it was true in that. So I think just like it's very important to like being kind of a said black male to like find those pockets of vulnerability and like really get into it when I have the opportunity to do it. And you know, poetry is one of those places that we kind of like share that vulnerability, but it's a big hurdle for said black males to do it because of like, you know, just patriarchy and all that and how it affects us. But every time I kind of share that, it's kind of like me getting over that curse of like not being vulnerable. So I want to share this with y'all with that considered if I could do that. Can I share some heart with y'all? Yeah, gratitude. The realest scars are the ones I tell myself don't exist. That I feel but never show. That I pen in poems with bravery but not enough courage to convert to conversations. You see, as a kid, my church never mentioned depression. I always skipped that Bible verse reading Jesus wept. That language was foreign, spoken by sinners cursed with the demonic fate. They'd rather me speak in tongues than voice my pain, would rather me trust their process and fast, repeat prayers, and wait. Though my brother never had those answered, no matter how many times he called, would sit silently in chapel whose choir sang in keys holding no harmony, was told that God won't accept what he brought to altar, and so he faltered, took leap of faith into river, submerged himself in a peculiar baptism where he dove deep into the Mississippi and never came up. Remember as kids when our parents asked us, if someone told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Not aware that when they preached to us to go out into the world and make ourselves disciples, they'll weep. They command us to carry heavy immersions like a millstone roped around neck and pray Jesus comes to our rescue. Trust the prophet who walks on water or watching me drown like Peter, hoping to be saved, fearing my spirit being empty from casket, where I am Sunday service suit and tied, same way I got crucified when a black Christian woman told me that as a man, I got no reason to cry. Same when my inner child felt unkept the first time I cried in front of a lover, exposed tears like bare bodies to her harsh winters, only to be left cold to her contempt, and I don't want to freeze anymore. Don't want to brave storms, that means carrying blizzards in my chest the same way my brother carried a cold heart with a warm smile. Don't want to hold back sobs, same way I restrained I love you from my brother's ears. Don't want to become walking coffin of many black men whose hearts turn graveyards with blank-faced tombstones, bearing ashes of a self they long cremated the moment they were told to wipe tears from their eyes like they never existed. I want to live. I want to live. I want to live.
Woo! Give it up for all the poets, please. Give it up for all the poets, please. Yes. Oh, yeah, y'all can just keep that. Keep going. All right, now give it up for Blake Shaw, please. Yes. All right, Chris Jensen on the drums. Come on now. And Dan Badley on that guitar. Let's go. Yes. Just keep that going. This is fun. So, I just got a few things to tell y'all. One is that we have something happening right after this, right? So if you're like, this was dope, and I have my own poems I want to share, or this is dope, and I got to hear more poems, we got space for you. That is going to be at Riverside Theater. So y'all can walk right from here and walk like 2 blocks, and you at a poetry slam. So we would love to see y'all. That sign-up sheet is starting just about now, so if you want to slam, you'll have to make those moves quick. I'm just letting y'all know, all right? But that's gonna be our last event. But before we end this event, there are some thank yous we have to give. First is I want to thank Iowa City for the grant that they granted us. Please give them some love. Thank Iowa City. We want to thank the Senior Center for giving us this space. Yes, we are so lucky to have this. And now, the most important thank you I have is that I would like to bring up the person who really makes all of this happen. The person that I am nothing without, really. And this is my dear friend, Lisa Roberts. Come on up, Lisa.